ice cream beans again. Now this is one that I picked up from what I like to call the fruit laggers over in my neighborhood. That's because I never see these anywhere, and I just find it kind of suspicious that they sell these, but these do grow in the US, so maybe they just know somebody with a farm in Florida. But yeah, just very odd to find these in New York City. They are very brown. That's because I think I got them like towards the end, and then I threw them in the fridge, and that made them go even more brown. This looks a little bit like the ones that I had in Mexico, but they're different enough that I actually think this is a different species. So this is another species of ice cream bean that I've never had, which is bringing me up to five ice cream bean species, and that's pretty cool. So I'm going to open this thing up, and then I'm going to eat the seeds. They're brown on the outside, but oh yeah, they are still white on the inside, so that is good. People suggested trying these cold, so I'm going to do that. Good sweetness to it. It is good cold. I like that. It's a little bit spicy. It tastes actually quite a bit like ice cream. There's another good one. Not all of them do. I had one in Colombia that really did. The one in Mexico kind of did. This one tastes a lot like the one that I foraged in Mexico, but it's a little cleaner tasting. The one I had in Mexico I foraged, so it had a little bit of a roughness to it. The flesh is hard to get off the seeds on this one, which is not always the case. It tastes a little bit like vanilla and a little bit like cinnamon. Maybe like a little bit like a horchata or something, right? Horchata? Horchata, I don't know how to say it. Like a spicy rice pudding. The sweetness is not like overwhelming. It's less than some of the other ones I've had. I'd say on a level of like 1 to 10, where 10's a sugar cube. This is maybe like a 7 maybe. But yeah, really good. But what I'm going to do with it is I'm going to roast the seeds. Now this is something that people do, but it's not like super common. It's something like if you're eating it and you're like have like more of like a waste not, want not kind of mentality, this is a good trick to have. So you eat the fruit, you save the seeds, you wash them, and then you prepare them like I'm going to show you. I'm taking these one by one, just like on a plate, and I am removing the flesh very carefully so I don't stab my fingernails. That would be bad. Like I said, the flesh on this one is a little bit tricky to get off, but it's actually easier to get off with a knife than it is with your teeth. So I think like if you wanted to preserve the seeds and the flesh separately for some reason, then this is the way to do it. As you can see, they are green, similar to the ones that I had in Mexico, but not the ones that I had in Bolivia or Colombia. Those ones were black, and they were also kind of cracked looking. I'm not sure if it's a matter of like when they're picked, or if it's a species thing. I think it's a species thing. So I have a nice refreshing glass full of ice cream bean seeds. Bizarre. I also have a nice glass full of the pulp. So not in this episode, but in a Jared's Junk Food episode, I'm going to do something with this. And put a little note in the comments if you think you know what I'm going to do with it. It's going to be weird. So I'm going to first drizzle a little bit of olive oil in here. I'm not measuring it, but I'd say there's probably like a teaspoon in there, maybe a little bit less. Going to coat. I'm also going to take a little bit of salt. Also not measuring it, but probably like a half teaspoon, maybe a little bit less. I'm going to mix this up. Lay it out onto a baking sheet. Spread them out a little bit. You could probably cook this in other ways. I'm just doing this because I don't know, I'm kind of familiar with doing seed recipes like this, but you could probably boil them or pan roast them as well. I'm going to take these and place them into the oven at 350 degrees So I put them in the oven for 15 minutes and they're starting to brown a little bit, so I think they're good to go. That's really good. It's got like a nice little chew to it, which I like. And the salt is good, adds to it. The flavor is relatively mild. It tastes a little bit like the guinnip seeds that I made way back when, and that reminded me a little bit like chestnut, something in that world. Maybe like a little bit like a potato kind of flavored. It's giving me an interesting sensation in my mouth. It's not like heat or sour or astringency or anything, but it's kind of like a weird like tingle. Maybe something like the tingle that you get from eating something sour, but not sour. I don't know. It feels like those parts of my tongue are like a little bit like triggered right now. It's got a slight sweetness to it. Low though, maybe like a 1 or a 2 out of 10. Very low, but it's there. You know, more than like probably like on par of like how sweet a chestnut is, maybe a little bit less. And it's got like a little bit of like a green taste to it, and a little bit of a bean taste. So imagine like if you took like a lima bean and you made it like a little bit starchy, and it had like a little bit of tingle to it. That's kind of what you get with this. Normally how people eat this is actually they mix it with salt and lime. So I'm going to try that as well. That's good. I don't think that lime juice would go as well on other things like a peanut or like an almond or something. With that particular flavor, that beany, starchy kind of flavor with the salt, that lime juice makes it pop. Like that's like a nice, powerful flavor. I would even put like some chili powder on there too. Like that kind of like combination I think would be really good. It's quoted all over the internet that in Mexico, this is a common snack that you can get at movie theaters. I don't know if that's true. If that's true, let me know in the comments if you're from Mexico, because I don't see any like reliable source saying that. But if that is true, it does make perfect sense because it does taste really good with the lime and the salt. I can see just like sitting down and popping these things, like think that is like a really nice flavor. Ice cream bean is a delicious fruit on its own. Very refreshing, very interesting flavor, and so many different species, some of which actually do taste like ice cream. And just adding to how amazing they are as it is, the seeds are edible, and they're also really good. They're a really nice snack. So if you manage to find ice cream beans, you are in luck. You know, enjoy the fruit and also save those seeds and roast them because that's pretty tasty. Well, I really hope you enjoyed that video, guys. If you did, you may want to check out the video that is below me right now. That should be good too. Also, if you haven't subscribed already, it is a huge help to my channel, so please do consider subscribing or clicking that bell. That does something too. Not sure what it is. Also, check out the description below. There's all sorts of other things I have going on. I don't even know anymore. But guys, I will see you next time. Take care.